It all started 37 days ago with 16 players, and now we are down to 2. An epic rematch from the group stage. VolcanicAkuma55 won the first match by just 5 seconds. Will it be any different tonight for MetalGlennSolid? Two titans of this game battle it out for a championship. Good evening. My name is DLimes13. Joining me is my partner, as always, Apache Smash. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this epic championship matchup as we get this underway?
Yeah, it's been long awaited. We've had a tough road to get here. Two, I would say, favourites for winning the whole thing, and it's no surprise to see them meeting in the final. Volcanic Akuma with perhaps a slight edge, you might say, as the current world record holder. Improved it twice, I believe, as well. Really, really good player and very, very fresh to the Metal Gear Speedrunners scene. He's only been around for, a couple of months at this point. Glenn, old favorite, strong player, known for MGS1 PC. So we're gonna have a fantastic match today between the two of them.
Yeah, in the last week or so, there's been some new tech found that I'm sure you've seen in the semifinals and in the third place match in the previous run with the whole volcanic shuffle, the skating, the shuffling, the swimming, whatever you want to call it. That has really lowered the time in this category, which is now, I believe, at a 59:19. We're closing in on a 58, where we did not think that was possible not that long ago. So, and these are two titans of this game. Glenn has been around for years running this. Akuma, really new to it, but showing he can flex with anybody. Can it deliver? Can it live up to what happened a few weeks ago, separated by 5 seconds? I don't know. I mean, it's anybody's championship.
Yeah. I I feel like I'm usually pretty good at calling it with these two. I honestly have no idea. I'm excited to watch what happens, but with this new find, I mean, we're watching this run in the making. It isn't. We don't have the best record. Before it was found, we would all say, Volcanic Akuma's time was pretty solid, and it's going to come down to like luck factors in order to get the best time. But even now with this category, we still have the time to come down some.
Yeah, I firmly believe a 58 is possible as it sits. I believe Kuma's sum of best times on his live split was like a 58:07, and I have every reason to believe that that is accurate. So we're not done yet. We will see a 58. I don't know about tonight. I think we could easily see a pair of 59s.
Yeah, both of these runners have shown that they are capable of that. We've seen them both develop as the league's gone on as well, right? They've both become stronger players from it.
Yeah, Glenn historically has not been an all bosses player per se. He's dabbled with it here and there, but never really took it seriously. His bread and butter was always any percent, but he has taken a stranglehold on this category, just like Akuma, and has contributed to various strategies, various finds, and refined his own game to where he's got a 10001 that he got just 2 days ago as his PB and can come way lower than that. So.
Give me your prediction then. I know we just said it's hard to say who is gonna leave the champion today.
Well, I don't want to call it since I'm calling this race. If I had to lean a certain way, I would think Akuma just based on the way he plays, but it is the definition of a coin flip. I do not know.
And of
What
course,
say you?
they're both grinders. I think Glenn, I think he's just the protagonist in this situation. Akuma is a villainous character. Have you seen the way he speaks to people, the way he
Mhm.
flexes on himself? He's like a cartoon villain twirling his mustache. Glenn is like uh, he's MGSR's hero, and I think goodness will prevail today with Glenn.
I mean, it is hard to beat somebody twice, and it came down to, like I said, 5 seconds in the last match. I don't know. So we'll see.
What an absolute race that first one was, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it delivering tonight.
All right, both of them pretty consistent to start with. Not a whole lot going on in the early game as always. Getting ready to head towards the DARPA Chief and the Guard Rush.
Yeah, I love the cell fight. It's one of those where you can't lose too much time on it. You can get shot a couple of times, but at this level with these two players, you're not going to allow for much separation unless there's a huge mistake at that point.
No, I don't think Guard Rush is really going to separate them too much. I think potentially Ocelot will. I saw Akuma in warm-ups practicing a SOCOM backup, which is something I really haven't seen out of him before. So it'd be very interesting to see if he gets a low-damage grenade, misses a grenade or something, if he just resorts to the SOCOM instead of keep adding with the grenades.
Yeah, if you're going for something like that as well, you're really relying on your opponent to make mistakes. If you say the first race came down to, literally 5 seconds, um, you don't really have room to go for backups anymore when races are that close. And there are elements of RNG in the run as well, um, but there's just nothing to rely on with two players who are this good at the game.
Glenn off to a bit of a rough start. Got shot twice and just had trouble shooting that third guard. So that's a few seconds for Akuma, just like that.
Yeah, that opening you can get tagged a couple of times. And now we'll see Akuma. He's going on the right side. He's just waiting for the guards to bunch up in the middle before he takes him out in this cell fight.
Yeah, this is a pretty standard position in Guard Rush.
Yeah, it's something we saw at the start of the league. We would see some of the fresher players. They would use different positions in the room, but the top right is favored by the faster runners.
All right, and both are out heading towards the aforementioned Ocelot fight. So I don't think there's going to be any question. We'll see Grenade Ocelot out of both of them, and it can be a little tricky. They are two of the best at the strategy. I would lean towards Akuma, um, just being a little more consistent at it, but he has screwed it up. So it's hard to nail, especially in a championship race.
It's scary. I mean, both of us have been in these situations where you're racing against someone who's a really strong player. Things that you've done 1,000 times begin to play on your mind. It doesn't matter how many times you practice something like Grenade Ocelot, you know the penalty for doing it wrong, and that will really affect you in a race. It looks good
That
from
Oh,
Akuma.
there we go. The SOCOM backup like we thought. So that's a very good backup. And Glenn, oh, he's gonna take a continue.
Yeah, that'll be Baker, and he knows it as well. He just stood on it because he knew. He absolutely knew. If you misthrow that grenade, and what we're saying is Akuma was ready with the backup, um, but there is no backup for killing Baker, and it's such an unfortunate continue because it sends you back like 2 rooms rather than one. Most continues set you back 1 room.
He's gonna take another continue. Oh, this is bad. This is super bad.
That's the
Oh,
risk
you
with this
hate to see it.
strategy. I mean, at the start of this league, the grenade ocelot strat was like a don't do it, don't dare do that in a race, and this is why people were so afraid of it. Um, it's a huge time loss if you get it wrong.
He can get it the third time here. This looks good. That was really fast, but now he has a huge hole to climb out of. He's gonna have to rely on some big mistakes from Akuma at this point.
Yeah, it's a huge penalty to get that wrong, and Kuma's going for his tank now. It's another
No, but
place where we've seen people make huge mistakes. We've seen like casual fights across the league against the tank. If you mess up the initial setup, the dunk, and Glenn's having trouble in this room as well.
yeah, I think he's just flustered from the whole grenade ocelot thing. He made a mistake. Oh, yee. Um, he made a decent mistake in the semifinal match where he failed to throw Meryl going into Mantis, and that kind of just he compounded mistakes there. It took him a while to get back on his feet. We're kind of seeing the same thing here, making them big mistakes with Ocelot in a big hole now. You have to not compound the mistakes or you will be out of it early.
Yeah, so that's the thing, and it's um, very difficult mindset to get into. And now Glenn is someone who speedruns a lot, but he's never really been, first in line to take part in these races. Even for this league itself, he was a stand-in. He said, if you have X amount of players, I'll play, kind of thing. Um, he isn't the one to rush in for competition, and learning to
Oh
like
my
rebound from a
goodness.
mistake is difficult.
That is super unfortunate getting hit by the tank there. So again, another big mistake. It's going to take so much to climb out of this hole.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, and now he's very much relying on mistakes from arguably one of the most consistent players, maybe even the most consistent player in the world. At,
Again,
at, at,
like
at this
this
category.
is this is so horrible. You really feel for him at this point.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
we've both been there ourselves when something goes wrong, and then you're just trying to get back in, and things compound, as you say.
this kind of reminds me of um the VE League, MGS2 VE League, where it was myself versus Bestwick in the championship, and it was slated to be an epic battle. Bestwick was the newcomer, I was the old school runner, and the holds just got to him, and he was just so far behind from the get-go. Very early, it's kind of similar with Glenn here, except it's role reversal. Kuma's the new blood, Glenn's the old school, and new school's taking old school to school. So, like, it's you feel for him. Like, it's just terrible.
Yeah, anyone who's been in races knows we've all been in the exact same situation. And it's a thing where something was found, during the competition, and when a new strat comes out, while you're already competing, it can take up a lot of like your mental space. Be thinking, got to shuffle here, got to shuffle here, and you can kind of like lose touch with the basics. But he absolutely relies on mistakes from Akuma to come back into the race, and yeah, I believe Glenn will just know that he has to play perfectly from here on out to stand a chance.
Yep. He just has to focus on himself, his run, and just not pay attention at this point to his opponent. Just control what you can control, and then whatever happens is just gonna happen.
Yeah, I don't like to watch my opponent. I don't like to know what my opponent's up to. But when you make the mistakes early, you already know that, like, especially when you do like repeated mistakes, you don't need to look to know, so it will play on your mind.
So far, looking like a pretty clean ninja from Akuma.
Yeah, I think throughout the league, people have just got more and more brave with their ninja, just to take every little second of time save from him. I remember watching people run this category back in the day, and they would do all kinds of safe things with him, like they would dodge his punch completely before attacking him back. People just stand and look at the ninja now, and they're like, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna hit you first.
Yeah, and he actually got double dialogue skip as well, which is pretty fast. So Akuma's on really, really good pace right now. Glenn just entering the ninja fight. This fight is around little over 2 minutes or so. So that's about the gap.
Yeah, and that's with even if he emulates Akuma's RNG, it was a pretty tasty ninja fight from Akuma. Picking up his stun grenades.
Stun grenades, very vital for three areas: the armory, the cave, and of course Mantis.
Now, there are big fights that Akuma can lose time on from this point. Um, Psycho Mantis has had a huge amount of variance across the league. Um, both wolf fights we know You just do the best with what you get given. But where are the places where Akuma can realistically make those big mistakes? RNG aside.
He struggled with nuke building. He has failed at nuke building 3 times in League.
What happened to the music?
And if you fail nuke building, get it
keep a lookout.
continue, you're
Make sure you're
losing
ready,
roughly
okay?
40 seconds per. So he's not immune to that. Outside of that, we've seen a little bit on Liquid, a little bit on the escape, but not very much. So he's basically a robot when it comes to this game, and it's just ridiculous how far he's come this quick.
Yeah, it's stupid how good his liquid fight actually is. We'll talk about that at the time, but he can fight liquid.
All right, and Glenn is exiting his ninja fight. Kuma's starting his mantis fight.
I think this is a very tricky fight for new people picking up the category. Kuma's pretty damn good at it, but it's a complicated fight compared to the rest of the fights in the run, I feel.
It's a little tedious. I mean, you got to deal a number of shots, then you got to throw a grenade to do a phase skip, and deal some more shots while evading a bunch of objects in the room. And especially on the higher difficulties, it just can take a long time. So it's one of the longer fights for sure.
You are powerful indeed, but I know your weak point. Meryl.
I always thought it was a missed opportunity that the PC version of Mantis can't read your internet browser history like it reads the memory cards in MGS1 on the console.
Yeah, that would have been pretty epic for sure.
Of course, we can use first person on the PC, and you do see a lot of runners shooting in the first person view. You can't do that on console. You can look in first person, but that's about it.
I will correct you and say on the integral version of console, there is a first-person mode you can turn on to have the same PC effect.
I genuinely didn't know that. No, thanks for telling me that. I genuinely didn't know that.
Yeah. No worries, dude.
I'll take point. Snake, you follow me.
All right, we're going to be seeing a cave out of bounds here, which is advanced in the last week or so. He'll do the vent glitch here at this rock, equip the box, and then he will do the quote-unquote volcanic shuffle, switching between a couple of weapon hotkeys very quickly, and we'll be able to skip Meryl's dialogue to save roughly 7 or 8 seconds.
I'll take point.
That was executed
Stay
beautifully.
back, okay?
But the radar isn't working.
Yeah, meanwhile,
Since
Glenn
we
is
can't use the
flipping
mine
Meryl
detector
into the room.
either.
Leave it to me.
It's a little bit quicker than waiting for her to walk in herself.
Yeah, it looks like he went forward just an extra step, so Meryl had to retreat back to her starting position. Just a minor time loss.
It's crazy to see how much better at like the cave in general, the cave area. At the start of the league, you were seeing very slow glitches and then into the box out of bounds. Akuma was like, it was as fast as you could possibly do it. It was
How
ridiculous.
did you know where the mines were?
It sounds weird, but when Mantis
And I think
dove
quite a
into
few
my
people at the
mind,
start of the league were
I
not
was
even
able to
picking up
see
the
where the
box,
mines
right?
were
They were just going
placed.
round.
Are you impressed?
Yeah,
Well,
it was split.
a
It was
little.
definitely split for sure, but
Only a
with this
little?
new tech that we have discovered, the box is arguably vital at this point, especially for that out of bounds.
Yeah, an
So
extra 8
before it was
seconds on
only a
top.
couple. Yeah, it was only like a second or two difference before, but now it's just no contest.
It's good to see that the league in general has resulted in so many fines and new time saves. I mean, really, like, we've made a point of saying that these competitions are so important because they improve a category so much.
And it keeps people interested in this game. I mean, we've seen multiple runners that have already been knocked out continue on and improve their time and play this game. Some are even like dabbling in other categories, difficulties, stuff like that, and just seeing what this game has to offer. There's so much more than just easy all bosses PC. I mean, there's just so much you can do in this game.
Yeah, it was cool to see like a sub community form as well of all people that probably didn't really know each other before this, and you know they're all friends and they're in each other's streams and working out new strategies, making guides and stuff. It's been really like wholesome to see and be a part of.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, since this league has started, the world record was a 102.53 by myself, and it's now a 59.17. So we're a little over 3.5 minutes improvement on record since this whole thing started just 5.5 weeks ago. It's insane.
Yeah, and I want to give credit to Plywood who really pushed for this as the setting for the tournament. Um, you know, myself beforehand, I was like, oh, you know, maybe it should be console, maybe it should be this. You know, knew it would be MGS1, but I was thinking, oh, maybe it should be a different category. And, you know, he was completely right about picking this category and this specific version of the game. So, yeah, hats off to him.
Yeah, this was definitely an excellent idea. I think everything about it was right. The game, the category, the length of the league, it wasn't too long. And Akuma's doing a little bit of a newer armory that actually I came up with. Yeah, you Zuboba. Wow, okay, that was
That was
lucky.
that was terrifying. But he's out.
Wow.
But he's out. It's one of the scariest rooms to get an alert on because you're absolutely trapped at that north side of the room. Your fastest way out is kind of to just dive in the trap door.
Either that or you could go to where you blew up the wall to get to Ocelot and Baker without taking the continue, but depending on where you get that alert, it could be faster just to take a death. Glenn having a little trouble with the vent glitch on the rock. Gets it second try. And now
Yeah,
we're
it's
in
only
Nuke Building, where Akuma has struggled just a bit, so potential opportunity if Akuma screws this up for Glenn.
yeah. This nuke building strat is ridiculously optimized. So what Akuma's going to do is throw a chaff grenade out, which will make the guard turn around. Previously, we used to use a PSG1, so we would shoot that guard. But the chaff grenade is ever so slightly faster because you don't have to go into a prone position. Very, very tricky though, and your chaff grenade has to be perfect to distract that guard.
All right, Glenn is heading towards his armory. Akuma heading towards RNG fight number 1, also known as Wolf 1.
Yeah, Wolf 1, she's RNG. It's not as bad as the second Wolf fight, but she can hide behind a pillar that's near the center of the arena, and you don't control it. You can't hit her while she's there. You just have to wait for her. So she's got a right side start here.
Ooh, that's ideal. That's really good to start with. Oh, and he misses the third shot.
She's not hiding though, so that's a bonus. You might get away with it. Yep,
That's good.
gets away
That's
with
super
it.
good.
Great RNG and well executed on the shots.
Right, armory from Glenn. Misses the PSG one, and because of time constraints getting out of this room, he doesn't get the third hack. Oh, and he gets the alert. He touched the guard. Oh, goodness. So
Yeah,
now he's
so
just going to exit the room and reset it.
Yes, he's mighty target.
yeah, if you leave a room, it will just wipe the alert off. But with alerts, you cannot operate the elevator.
You win.
So that's what I was saying about being trapped on the north side of the building.
Had enough. So, you're human after
Super
all.
unfortunate.
The torture will stop as I promised.
Yeah, guards, once
Now
they're
take the
like
woman
in an
and
awkward
return.
position like he found
I'll have
himself,
my
it's
fun
very
with
difficult
her.
not to get an alert.
Meryl, I hope you can still look at yourself in the mirror, my friend.
right,
Now
Akuma
Glenn's gonna have
into.
a.
Damn, I caught a cold.
You go, dude. You go. You good?
I was just gonna say Akuma is just into torture right now, so he's gonna be breathing a sigh of relief for the next few minutes on super good pace, mind you. I mean, I don't want to speculate, but this is definitely 59 pace. I don't know about world record. Uh,
I can't think of a
Glenn,
mistake.
Glenn, all kinds of trouble. That was really, really strange, and he bumps into the guard and gets an alert. Just, you hate to see it. You hate to see it.
Yeah, so a thing with MGS1 is if you throw a guard, if you're too close to hit the guard when you're behind him, it will still trigger the alert. So you have to. I mean, he was already in trouble because he threw out a chaff accidentally earlier in the room, so his timing was all like off. I think he may have been panicking because that nuke building, if you get an alert, it fills with gas. You're taking a continue, so it's a really, really rough room. And he's going to want redemption on this one, so I assume he's going to do the chaff throw. Yep. And throws the guard off for good measure.
I mean, it happens to all of us. Like, some days we just don't have it. These runs can be difficult. And some days just the stars don't align, and there's just nothing you can do about it.
See you later.
But can't hang your head on it. You just gotta move on, finish it out, and just don't dwell about it. And some days you just don't have it.
Press 1 in the chat if you've been there. I have absolutely been there. But credit to Glenn, like, he's played so well to get here in the first place. I think the competition in this league was phenomenal. And a best of one is always going to feel quite cruel. A best of one format is absolutely unforgiving.
Yep, single elim is definitely no joke. There's no room for mistakes. I mean, it's literally do or die, and this is for all the marbles. But there's still a lot of game left. I mean, a lot can happen. I mean, a lot
Yeah,
can
oh yeah.
happen. But I mean, it's still gonna take just a monumental effort and collapse on Akuma's part.
Yeah, it's one of those where you're in a situation where you are relying on mistakes from your opponent. Your opponent is the best player in the world currently. Sometimes you don't make mistakes, but it can happen. I'm going to see VolcanicAkuma's final nuke building. Like you say, he's had trouble with it. He could get away with a mistake at this point, but he couldn't get away with 2.
No, yeah. So and this looks good. Clean throw here. Yep, and he's out. So this is really, really, really good pace to start like halfway through the run. Like, this is super good.
Yeah, it's one of those where Glenn will be thinking, I hope he does get world record, because then at least you can just be like, well, I couldn't beat it anyway.
Right. Yeah, I mean, as disappointed as Glenn is, I don't think he's that type of person to just hope something bad happens to Akuma or he makes 10 minutes worth of mistakes or something silly like that. Like, it is what it is.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't think anyone really ever feels like that. Only in the moment if you're close. Like if you're in the same room and your opponent makes a mistake, you definitely think yes, but not
Oh,
in
yeah.
this situation. You don't want to see the other person collapse.
Yeah, I'm guilty of doing that too. I always watch my opponent when I race in various matches, and if it's close and I get a little bit of breathing room, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna pop
Yeah,
off on that. But if the opponent collapses and has 5 minutes worth of mistakes, I'm like, you hate to see it. I don't like
yeah,
that.
I've definitely laughed manically at my PC screen in that situation.
we'd like to give a quick shout outs to all of you watching on the front page of speedrun.com. This is Metal Gear Speedrunners, a community speedrunning channel dedicated to speedrunning all the Metal Gear games. So if you do like this type of content, we do races, various speedruns, world record attempts, all kinds of events. We have a relay race that's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Drop us a follow. And we'll give you some good content.
Yeah, looking ahead to the relay race. It feels like so long since we've done one, but it hasn't actually been that long, really. We've already had some really great submissions for that.
Yeah, should be an epic time. That's going to be the first weekend of June. Details to be determined.
I'm glad we're seeing just like more and more competitive speedrun stuff. It begins to starting to feel like, you know, we always have an event on. We always have something going on. Oh, Glenn missed the shuffle out of the room.
A little bit of time lost. So you lose about 5 seconds if you miss that shuffle. Alright, the rappel sequence it can be a little tricky at times. It's usually pretty straightforward, but we've seen mistimed jumps, getting shot where it just loses your momentum. So it's not a given here for Akuma, but this looks pretty standard so far. Yep, and that's pretty much textbook.
Yeah,
Maybe
once you're
expect
doing it
anything less
right.
at this point. So
Yeah, once you're doing it right, there's very little time to be saved. Just perform it every time. And the catwalk, possibly the least scariest room in PC.
but one of the scariest on console.
Yeah, for sure. I'm honestly not even sure what you do once you mess it up. I just use the PSG one.
Yeah, if you get shot on console like midway through, you're pretty much taking a death. So
I'd love to see VolcanicAkuma splits right now. I'd really love to know where he's at. I can't, apart from the Ocelot backup, I can't think of a mistake.
yeah, and that backup maybe lost him 4 seconds, 3-4 seconds, if that. Everything else, I mean, even his guard rush, he didn't even get shot. He got double dialogue skip on Ninja. Mantis was pretty clean. He got good RNG on Wolf. I mean, this is very, very good pace.
One of those. As I say, I just wish we had a system to, you know, it'd be too cumbersome, of course, but it'd be nice to just know where people are at sometimes. We've not seen pauses out of them for any strats as well. We didn't see a pause for a Nikita, did we?
No, some people don't like to do pause buffering. I don't really mind it too much. We've seen the likes of Plywood do that sometimes. Tyler does it a little bit, and others. Pausing can be very useful. It does pause the in-game timer in-game, so it doesn't count since we use IGT for everything. It can be useful for like the wolf fights, preventing yourself from like going prone, stuff like that. I'm kind of surprised it's not really used more, but I mean, if you don't pause, I guess it's just extra flex. So
It's just not
All right.
Akuma's style, I feel.
yeah, I don't think so. So the hind fight, Kuma's going for a 6-shot hind, where basically he did not pick up any ammo next to the ladder. He's going to save it for Wolf 2. He did retreat to get the ammo at the start of this fight after dealing a shot, which is smart. And he's dealing a few no lock-on shots, which is very hard to hit, and he misses one, so very minor time loss.
it cannot be like overstated how difficult the Hind is for like doing no lock-on shots and hook shots and things like that. The Stinger is very primitive in MGS1 compared to how much you can throw the Stingers around in 2. So it's impressive to see him going for those no lock-on shots in the first place.
Yep. Now this second phase is a lot easier on PC thanks to the God Mode exploit, or GME. Just stand here, not take any damage, and keep the Hind in this Hind cage or Hind loop, prevent him from going down, and end the fight in an efficient manner. Yeah, I mean, other than that missed 6th shot that only cost him a couple seconds, this is a fairly textbook fight, as he misses a shot there, but that's whatever. Yeah, it's maybe like 3-4 seconds lost. Not bad.
Yeah, I mean the whole point is to just, as long as it doesn't go underneath. If that Hind goes underneath the stage, that's when you start bleeding time.
And it's more punishing on the lower difficulties because the Hind stays under for longer, whereas say like Extreme, Hind comes up way quicker to quote unquote make it harder on the player. But on easy, it can stay down there for 35 seconds. I mean, it's brutal.
Yeah, and we've seen it across the course of the league. I think the Hind is going to be one of the most memorable fights of the league, just because it changed the course of the match so many times.
All right, so Glenn into Tower B. He'll be fighting his Hind here in a couple of minutes. Akuma's going to grab this ammo pack that he opted not to pick up before Hind. So now he'll have 10 Stinger missiles for Wolf 2. Now, something new that we have been toying with since the new Volcanic Shuffle came out is do the shuffle, deal the last hit on Wolf with a Stinger, and then do the shuffle to skip the rank up animation, like the life gauge going up and you're paused and sitting there. It can be a bit of a risk because if you accidentally skip the fight before dealing that last shot, that's an invalid run. So in this case, Akuma would have to load up a save and do the fight again if that last shot is not dealt with appropriately.
Yeah, and we'll be watching. We'll be watching like a hawk for that. The runner will know, of course, if they haven't done it correctly. You do get situations where you think your last Stinger's going to hit, so you start doing the shuffle early and then it misses. Easily
Yeah,
possible.
as long as you don't GME, then if you don't nail the last shot and you miss, then the barrier will just knock you back and you just lose a few seconds instead of having to redo the fight, or in speedruns lose your entire run.
Yeah,
This
of
looks
course,
pretty good so far.
we only allow loading a save in this race environment. You absolutely cannot do that in a single segment.
That is
speedrun.
like that is one of the
Wow.
fastest Wolf 2s I've ever seen. What is that? Wow. That's ridiculous.
I'm curious to see where he's at.
I'm gonna find out on my own.
That's the IL right there. I mean, like you say, I've never seen it faster.
Wow. He's on a mission. He is on a mission for sure. I don't know. Could we see not only a 59, but potential record?
I mean, it's looking like it, right? I mean, just the few seconds on Ocelot, I haven't seen anything else that's like a mistake. This would have been a tall order to beat with any run.
So I'm going to give you some context against his world record run on the board. He's 13 ahead.
There you have it, folks. He's currently 13 seconds ahead of world record. Lots of game to play for. Yeah, I'm not going to promise you a world record from this man today, but that Wolf 2 was something else.
Yeah. So records of 59-19. You're getting, if you save 13, you're dangerously close to that 58. Like, oh my goodness. Long way to go. Long way to go.
Big, long way to go, yeah. We got Raven next. Raven, he's not too bad on PC, I gotta say. You gotta have enough Nikitas, shoot him at the start with a SOCOM, and then just time out your shots. If you try and be too hasty with it, he'll still have iframes, you can miss a shot, but not too difficult on the tier list of bosses in MGS1.
Yep, just can be a little awkward to do optimally. That's about it.
He does need those Nikitas, but he picks them up in a way that doesn't actually lose any time.
Yeah, you can't shoot too quick because of Raven's iframes, so you definitely have time to pick up ammo if need be. And looked like a good fight to me.
As I say, difficult to... I'm not good enough at the game to point out where Akuma's mistakes are. He's playing that well.
It's very little. It's so little. And that Wolf 2 is just, it's carrying right now. Like, that's one of the fastest I've ever seen. I don't... Did he? I don't even think he used a stinger. Maybe
I think
one.
yeah, one or two. On the second shot, I think he used one, but IL board, get it on the IL board. I doubt anyone's got a faster one than that.
Doing some shuffles to get closer to the elevator. Or elevator. Ladder. Yeah, that's an elevator. Right.
Yeah, so he got fast elevator there. That was really good. Yeah, so
Oh
just
my
to
goodness.
mention again, when we say he shuffled, the game sometimes completely brings Snake to a halt, and you can't use the movement keys. But because of the weapon hotkeys that are native to the PC version, switching between two weapons makes Snake move forward. We can do that in many places during the run to save time. Glenn's done well on this Wolf 2 as well so far.
Yeah, a little bit of a rough start, but he's definitely recovered nicely. And any other race, and he got the shuffle to skip the extra animation and stuff. So, any other race, that would be enough to probably win. Not against Akuma. Like, good luck competing with that. All right, so coming up right here, infamous PAL key pickup. Positions 1 through 7. 6 is the best, 7 is the worst. This could decide world record potentially. What's he gonna get?
It's
That's decent.
decent.
That's decent. I think he had a 3 on his world record. 3 or 4, so Glenn a little trouble with cargo, but gets out okay. But ladies and gentlemen, game on for potential world record in a championship match.
Yeah, I think this will bring Glenn a lot of comfort. It's one of those, if you look at your opponent and they played their absolute best, it really doesn't matter what mistakes you made. And even his luck's been pretty fair. He's had a few fast elevators, decent pal key, incredible wolf RNG, and just the execution on it as well. It wasn't just the RNG. He executed phenomenally.
Just gonna check one thing real quick to check his pace.
There's plenty of things that can trip him up yet, of course, though. Now, you think you get a briefer in it in the PAL sequence, but if you fail to put that key into the computer, you continue in the room. If you don't wait long enough to heat up the key or cool it down, you've killed your run there and then.
All right, so I
But
went ahead and looked at the start against the timer to see if there was any sort of delay or anything, and there was maybe a half a second. If my math is correct, he is still 12 seconds ahead of world record.
he'll know that too, right? He plays with splits, I believe, when
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
racing.
yeah, for sure. Yep. He's not afraid.
Now, in Endgame, I'm not sure about his Rex, and I nearly said Rays. But I do know he's got
Indifference.
one of the best, like hands down, one of the best liquids going. He does a no-throw setup.
Yeah, he's constantly getting high 209s on the warning timer, which is just super, super good. No throw is very hard to do. You have to transition from single punch to double punch. But he's one of the best for sure.
It's been an absolute joy to watch him across the league. My head will fall off if we see a world record run in this race today.
Let alone in a final. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Ooh, that chaff grenade went down, I think. Yep, I saw the chaff grenade go down into the pit. So just a little bit misplaced.
Yeah, it doesn't explode down there.
All right, Glenn coming up to his pal key. We'll see what he gets. See if he gets some good RNG.
I think the game's just going to give him the worst one. I think it's one of those days.
I don't know, man. I mean, maybe the game will throw him a little bit of a bone, which you would argue that's a little bit of an insult.
It is. I would rather get the worst Palki right now. Of course, you can think that the Palki RNG is cruel, and we've seen it separate people in races in the league, but the variance on the way we do the Palki now compared to chasing the rat around,
Ah,
like God Palki.
of course he did. Of course he did. Just insult to injury. Oh, man.
That is rude of the game to do that.
Yep. All right, now we're playing the waiting game, doing the pal key sequence, and just waiting till end game. Will we see a piece of history? That's the
Yeah.
question.
But if anyone's wondering, does Metal Gear Speedrunners have a Discord? We actually do. You can find it on our website, MetalGearSpeedrunners.com. We also have our own wiki, which anyone is free to edit and use. And if you want to see the link to directly to the Discord, it's being posted in the Twitch chat right now. We also have a Twitter. Do you use Twitter, D-Limes?
On occasion.
Yeah, you can actually follow us on Twitter at MGS Runners.
It's a decent Twitter. It's a decent Twitter.
It's decent.
Yeah.
And yeah, say I was a person who wanted to speedrun Metal Gear games. Which ones could I learn inside the Metal Gear Speedrunners Discord?
I believe that would be all of them.
Nice. Just like any single one from Metal Gear all the way to Survive. And future ones that they'll definitely make one day.
Yeah, for sure. Future ones. Indeed.
I hope that gets to be on VolcanicAkuma's world record run, which we might see today. How nervous are you, like, going into the liquid fight? You know, if he's something like 12 seconds up on his splits, possibly 11 now after those gunshots.
I
It's an
think
intimidating fight.
I think for him, he's pretty cold-blooded. So I mean, come on, he's human. He's gonna feel some nerves, especially in a scenario like this, to win a title and to get the cherry on top and get world record. Like, but I think he'll be fine. But for anybody else, I think he'd be pretty damn nervous.
Yeah, my hands would shake, I think. Do you ever get that shaky hands?
Oh yeah, yeah, and I mean, not to toot my own horn or anything, but I held every world record in this game at one point. So, and every time I got to that liquid fight, I was nervous. Like, am I gonna drop the infinite or whatever? No matter how many times you do it, like it's still a nerve-wracking fight when you're on such good pace, and then screw it up, or then you get it and pop off, blah blah blah. Like, it's a hard fight right at the end.
Are you gonna get all world records in this game again?
Yeah, yeah, it's not a question.
Hell yeah.
So, like, I admire what Akuma's doing right now, but I'll be fine. I don't care.
He won't know what's hit him. He's not
It'll be it'll be hard. This will be the hardest one now, like by far. Because I think Jaguar King has taken a couple from me. We have a
Akuma's
pause
paused.
from Akuma. Interesting. He's gonna use the bathroom.
Hey, if you gotta
Okay.
go, you gotta go.
Well, all matches go to IGT. They go to the in-game time, so this does pause his time.
Not if
So
someone
this is
crashes.
yeah, that is true. That is true. Like we saw in the last race,
Go, go, Glenn,
Geo
go.
GOG sucks.
Run, Glenn, and then
But
reset your game.
uh, you gotta go. But I mean, to Akuma, strengthen up your bladder. Like that's all I have to say.
Listen, man, if you needed to go, you should have gone before you went on.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm not gonna judge his situation. Maybe he's got some bladder issues or something, but just a little wonky to do it in a championship final.
No, man, I'm absolutely not going to judge him. If you gotta go, you gotta go. You ever see that marathon runner? She had to go.
Oop, Glenn almost went the wrong way. Let's give you some audio. Let's give you some audio from Glenn while we're waiting. Yeah, I think whenever I do tech prep for any runners from now on and like races and stuff, I think I'm gonna add to my question list. Did you use the bathroom before you started this race?
Ah, man, we don't know. Could be extenuating circumstances.
I guess.
But if Glenn does reset his game on purpose now, he can take this race. I don't think Glenn would do it, but I assure you all that I would.
All right, Akuma has resumed. He just wanted to keep us waiting. That's all it was.
I really do hope this is world record. I really do.
Oh my goodness.
That's it. He's got one more card, the Rex fight, which occasionally crashes for people on the PC port. We've seen it. Liquid. It's got execute and then escape. We haven't really talked about the escape, but it's not an auto scroller. Liquid does have a health bar during that section, but it's completely invisible. We understand how it works, right? Is it 16 shots you gotta get on him?
15. You have to deal 15 shots on easy. And there's 4 different phases where you deal shots, and We'll explain it a little when we're at that, but not a given. We've seen people lose 15, 20 seconds on that sequence alone. And going back to the whole Rex fight thing, between phases, for whatever reason, the GOG version of this game has a tendency sometimes to crash, like we saw in the last race. We believe it might have something to do with either core affinity, really weird random bug, or the fact that it's in windowed software mode, which is not something you can do on the Reddit or Oxide version of this game, which both of these runners are running. So I don't think we'll see any crashes out of them, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean the crashes really do come down to the fact it was made by 4 guys in a one-bedroom flat in Stoke-on-Trent. It's got its quirks, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, even with all the patches over the years, fan-made patches and GOG's work and everything else, I mean, this is a 21-year-old game, and it was just crappy from the get-go. And to get it to the point where it is today is a minor miracle, and we're thankful for it, but it's still just going to have its quirks.
In
And
my
its quirks
opinion,
is what makes this run the way it is, how broken it is.
yeah, in my opinion, the more we find for it, the more it just makes it endearing to me. Like, I actually love the PC version. Like, I always liked it, but as we find all these new pieces of tech for it, I just love it so much more. It's really just separated itself from the console version at this point.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the main benefits are like you can skip codecs with the press of a button. You have weapons hotkeys, and the loads are super fast. But there's so much more than that just make this port just this special. So, all right, here we go. End game for Akuma. Since he took the bathroom break, I have no clue about his pace. So we'll just sit, watch, and see if he gets it.
There isn't a whole lot left.
Comes down basically to liquid, barring something catastrophic at Rex and Escape. I think it'll be close.
Even the minor things, like he had that Rex damaged as soon as he possibly could. His time between the iframes is pretty much as perfect as you can get it. Really, really clean phase 1.
Standard.
I was taken from the battle, neither truly alive nor truly dead.
Phase 2 can be a tiny bit tricky depending on your strategy. You can choose to GME and then stand in place, or move up forward a few steps, which is what Akuma does, and then deal with the fight similar to console. Oop, a little early on that shot. A little early on that shot too, so... Alright, not too bad of a fight. Couple early shots resulted in a couple seconds of time loss. But here it is. This is possibly for world record.
You could enjoy one brief moment of love before the end.
I'm just going to enjoy the moment and see what he does.
You fall.
As we said, no throw is likely what he's going to do. Very hard to pull off. Let's just wait and see.
Have at you, Snake.
Oh, that's unfortunate. He was just in a bad position. He's going to have to go to some backups and hope for the best, but that's probably going to cost him record.
Yeah, it may even cost him a 59 if he doesn't pick up on it soon.
Yeah, he's having a little bit of trouble. Ideally on the warning timer, he gets out at about 2:09. He's going to lose roughly 20 seconds. And, yeah, 19 seconds. So, I think it'll still be a 59, but that's... record's probably gone, unfortunately. But still, I mean, a hell of a performance in a championship setting. To probably get a 59, that's really good.
Yeah, I think even with that mistake, like, there isn't many people who could have beat him today.
No,
It
and
would have
I think
taken a hell of a run.
Glenn has realized that at this point and has noticed his pace and everything else. And like we said repeatedly, some days you just don't have it, and it just wasn't Glenn's day. But I don't think anybody was going to beat what Akuma did, even with that liquid.
Second place with the level of competition we've seen. It's admirable, and especially for someone who isn't the first to jump in line for competitive speedrun races, and someone who came in really to make sure the numbers were right. He's done really well. Hell of a run out, Glenn.
For sure. And I think we will be seeing more of him. Missed a shot on one of the guards for Akuma, so he's going to lose about 2.5 seconds there on that checkpoint. But we'll see Glenn. We'll see Glenn running this game some more. He wants to dabble back into any percent where his real bread and butter is. Possibly take back some records. So definitely give these two a follow if you do enjoy Metal Gear speedrunning.
Yeah, Glenn will always be a threat where PC times are concerned.
Yeah, Glenn just having a little bit of trouble initiating the infinite. Gets in a decent position to back up, and he'll have to probably readjust again. Maybe not. Nope, didn't have to. He's Liquid was sliding, but the fight ended just in time.
Coming up on time for Akuma.
755 escape.
Yeah.
Pretty decent. All right, is this a 59? That is the question. $59.25 to close out the final and win a championship. That is pretty epic. So you do the basic math on that alone, 19 on liquid, that would have been a 59.06. Wow. Nobody was beating that today.
One mistake at Liquid cost him record. Like, this kind
Literally.
of environment, it's not surprising at all. But honestly, that's such a ridiculously good time, especially in the circumstances.
Yeah. I mean that's such a good time. But yeah, hats off to Akuma, champion of the league, newcomer to first. Be very interested to see what his career is going to be in this speedrunning scene. I think he can do a lot of damage in this game.
Or any game if he decides to pick it up. He's definitely a threat. Right mindset for it. Pretty cocky as well. Always helps.
I mean, he started with MGS2 tankers, so maybe he'll return to MGS2 and start to dominate there. Who knows? Glenn coming up on time now. And that should be time with a 103.29 for Glenn. So
Not a typical performance from Glenn at all. You have off days, right? You have off days.
you do. And we got the champion joining us right now, VolcanicAkuma55. Welcome.
Thank you guys. I can't put. For everyone who is wondering, this is not world record. I was 10 seconds ahead of my world record going into liquid. And then liquid happened. So, unfortunately, this is not a world record, but still, it's the only 59 in this entire league. And I did it with a bit of help.
What was that? What was that Wolf 2? Was that the fastest Wolf 2 of all time? Like that was ridiculous.
That might just be the fastest.
Yeah, that was absolutely ridiculous. I popped
Yeah.
off as soon as I saw that. I mean, that was the only thing that would have made it
imagine you did.
better. The only thing that would have made it better was to get the shuffle skip to save
Yeah.
time. But
Yeah,
I mean,
you can't
with
do
the
that.
no,
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, with
Alright,
the shots you were
s-
dealing, who cares?
Yeah, we can't shuffle if we kill her with the rifle. We might be able to, but that's like task levels of execution. So yeah, I was 24 ahead after Wolf 2, and then after I got down into the base, I was like 14 ahead. So yeah, 10 seconds that thing is worth.
Yeah, I was tracking your pace against your record on the board after that Wolf 2, and you were 12, 13, 14 ahead for quite a while. It's really a shame about that liquid.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're quite upset
Yeah.
about that, but
Ah.
I mean, you did it.
Nah,
You're
at
champion.
that point, I just wanted to win. You noticed that you might have noticed that I stayed in the freezer and the furnace a little longer than usual.
Hmm.
Because just today I was in there for over 61 seconds and the PAL key did not change. So yeah, it's probably going to be 62 seconds in there from here on out.
Yep. Better safe than sorry. I don't blame you one bit for that. I do want to give a shout outs to Glenn one more time. Opted out of
Oh,
an
absolutely.
interview for obvious reasons, but we do thank him for his participation in league. Runner up is nothing to be ashamed about, and like we said, stuff happens. I mean,
Yeah,
we
it's
all
the one
can't
and
play our
done.
bets all the time. That is.
If I might ask, what happened? I hear there was something at the start.
He screwed up Ocelot 2 or 3
Oh.
times. He screwed up Tank 2 or 3 times. So, and
Oh,
just a multitude of issues. It started
I
with
see.
Ocelot. So,
I see.
but yeah, it
Yeah,
happens.
to be fair, if I screwed up Ocelot, I probably would have gone for grenades again too.
Yep, that's what he did. So he didn't.
Yeah.
He never opted to do the SOCOM. He was just persistent. So I don't blame him one bit.
Yeah, but this has been absolutely incredible. GG's to Glenn. Thanks to you, Limes, and Apache for commentating this, and for everyone who helped set this league up, and everybody who competed. When I got into this because I was like binging on Metal Gear cutscene movies, and I just realized that I'd never really watched a Metal Gear speedrun. So I watched Wall Guy's Twin Snakes world record from like 3 years ago, and I never imagined it would come to this. This is surreal.
What's next, Akuma? Or what game do you have your sights on next?
Let's see. All bosses normal, and all bosses hard, and all bosses extreme.
Wow, he's gonna do it. He's going for sweeping.
Yeah,
Let's
I'm
go.
sweeping. I'm gonna sweep all bosses.
Nice.
At least until you come back.
Well, probably about a month or so. Get rid of these stupid dog
Yeah.
tags out of my life first. So
I'm still waiting on that MGS2 PC Extreme full game dog tags.
yeah, that'll be last, but yeah. So
Yeah,
Well,
probably
we'll
gotta
look
go back
forward
into.
to. I mean, we'll look forward to seeing the all bosses from you. I'm curious what you can do on the higher difficulties.
Yeah,
So,
I've been practicing a little bit with them. Nothing substantial, but I think I can do it. I don't see a reason why I can't.
yeah, oh no, without a doubt. I think you've proven yourself. I mean, you came into here, you put a pretty good tanker time up for MGS2 fairly quickly, and then just took this by storm. You're a player. I mean, you can have any record you want, at least on PC for sure.
Yeah.
Console though, we'll see if you ever dive into console.
That'll be some ways away. at least until Turbo is made legal.
Yeah,
Hint,
yeah,
hint.
yep. Mashing sucks. So,
It's no
it
bueno.
is in talks. We'll see if we can get that changed.
Yeah, other than MGS1, probably it would be more MGS2 full game runs, of course, and
Nice,
I think Twin Snakes.
nice. I like to see that. That was my first speed game.
Oh yeah.
So,
All right.
well, anything else you want to say, Apache or Akuma, before we get on out of here?
Just thanks to everyone who made this possible. Everybody in the chat, everybody who's promoted us, speedrun.com for having us on their site. I think I have to give a shout out to Plywood. 95% of the things that you see in my runs, like all on my channel, 95% of the things you see in those runs, he taught me those from his tutorials. So Plywood, thank you so much. And you too, Limes, because, you know, if 95% from Plywoods, then you, Limes, and Tromboncino, Jaguar King, especially Jaguar King, because he was the first guy I ever saw do Grenade Ocelot in his No Damage Extreme video. And I was mind blown.
It's
Yeah, he's a hell
definitely
of a player, Jack.
Yep. He's inspired a lot of us for sure. Definitely a little bit me, and I know he's been a big part of Apache's upcoming into speedrunning as well. Big inspiration. So, yep.
Now he could inspire a lot more people if he would do all bosses easy.
Yeah, it's gonna that's gonna be
Unlikely.
pulling teeth. Pulling
Gotta get
teeth
more
and then
people in
some.
here.
Unlikely we'll
Right.
ever see that.
Yeah, I know. I know he likes his extreme and his big boss. I don't begrudge him that.
All right. Well, that's going to conclude it for this MGS1 PC All Bosses League. VolcanicAkuma55, your champion. We'll see
Thank
what he
you
does
very much,
next.
man.
See if he can sweep this board and maybe sweep the game. We'll see. So,